First with breaking news. First with new information. Plus, your first alert forecast. 19 News starts now.
All right, take a look at this. Massive flames. Boy, this was something else. Tearing through an abandoned building, sending thick black smoke billowing underneath and everywhere in the flats. The I-490 bridge. Boy, that took the brunt of it, too. Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Duffy.
And I'm Nicole Versansky. So this forced officials to shut that bridge down for hours. They wanted to make sure it was safe. Thankfully, now that bridge is back open. First at 4, Brittany Weir joining us live at the scene with an update on what those inspectors have determined, Brittany.
Yes, about 12 hours ago, the I-490 bridge here behind me was just shut down as that thick black smoke and those flames that you saw just filled the air. But thankfully now it is back open. But it did take a team of investigators and hours of long, hard work to make sure that road was safe to drive on. It looked like something out of a movie. Thick black smoke swallowing the I-490 bridge in Cleveland's Industrial Valley early this morning. Around 4:15 a.m., flames tore through an abandoned 2-story factory on Independence Road right underneath the bridge. The fire was so intense that officials shut down I-490 entirely while crews worked to knock it down.
We take all fires near our bridges very seriously because heat can have a drastic effect on the steel as far as the flexibility and also the hardness of the steel can be ruined and affected by heat.
Brent Kovacs with ODOT says bridge inspectors rushed in once the blaze was contained, checking every inch of the structure. Heat stress marks on the steel, the welds, and any twisting in the cross braces.
Took a close look at all the steel on the bridge underneath the driving surface and saw that there was only smoke stains, various soot on the bridge, and also some paint bubbling on it. But thankfully that was the extent of damage.
And it wasn't just the structural damage that inspectors were concerned about. Smoke on the roadway posed its own danger for drivers.
Smoke is another issue. When it billows onto the roadway, we need to make sure that it's safe, that motorists can see clearly and can safely pass on the road.
And again, this abandoned factory right here behind us is the one that caught on fire. You can see the roof is destroyed. Now that bridge on I-490 did open around 12:45 this afternoon. Thankfully, there were no injuries with this fire, but the cause of that fire is still under investigation. The ODOT does have a safety message for everyone. If you're ever on the road and experience smoke like we saw this morning, you are advised to just pull over and wait for those safety crews to arrive. In Cleveland, Brittany Weir, 19 News.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
All right, live look outside from our Conneaut camera. We've been enjoying a lot more of that sunshine out there today. Lots of deep blue skies as well. That's all a sign that the humidity is still just a little bit lower for us, but that won't necessarily last forever. We'll kind of increase that humidity gradually as we head into tonight and early tomorrow. Temperature-wise, though, it's beautiful. Most of us are sitting mid to upper 70s all across the area. Yeah, you're noticing a few of those clouds increasing, but this isn't necessarily bringing us a rain chance just yet. It does signal, though, that there are some changes coming back to the forecast, and for some it could include a spotty rain chance late tonight, headed through the early hours of tomorrow. But I do not think that this is going to be a wash of a day, especially getting through your Wednesday for the vast majority of our area. It will, though, secure some cooler temperatures for us by Thursday. All those details ahead.
26 NBA teams did not make the conference finals. The Cavs actually did.
So why does it feel so bad right now?
Right, yeah, it does.
Why does it feel for some that the team maybe needs to make some changes? Let's bring in Mark Schwab for a look. What comes next for the Cavs? There's always next year, right?
Always next year. There is so much to unpack with this team. One little chat here, probably can't get to it all. But the first order of business is the head coach, right? Kenny Atkinson's been here 2 years, and I know a lot of fans want him gone. I would not have been shocked if they did pull the plug on him. However, it's already out there that he's coming back. He is staying. So Kenny Atkinson sticking around.
We've done something that we haven't done since 2018, and we're still going. Like, there's going to be criticism everywhere. Like, we're on Kenny, right? But why? I love Kenny. We love Kenny. We ride with Kenny. And ultimately, that's all that matters, right?
He did an unbelievable job of getting me acclimated as fast as possible to, understanding what I was supposed to be doing out there. And, it was just an unfortunate situation.
So that leads us to Harden, who has a player option for $42 million. He's probably going to decline that if he gets a longer deal. He was supposed to be the missing piece for a championship, but most of the playoffs, he was just missing. 5 for 28 from downtown. Bad defense, lots of turnovers. But he says he does want to stay.
Do you want to be here, and do you expect that you'll be here next season?
Yes, 100%. Definitely both. To answer yes. Want to, definitely want to be here.
That's just the society we live in. That's the world we live in. We're a ringed culture. That's just how we are. So, like I said to you, we can't fight it. It just is what it is. But I do think people overlook the greatness. 17 years, dog. Like, it's a long time.
By the way, the Knicks averaged 119 points a game in this series, the Cavs 99. So this was not close. There's a positive note here if you're looking for something. The last 4 teams that lost in the East Finals went back and won it the following season. Please make it 5 in a row, but figure it out. Reporting live, Mark Schwab, 19 News.
I'm hanging on to that one. Thank you. Thank you for that little slice of hope right there. Right?
Yeah, they need something. Oh. They need wings. They need guys that can go out and run and defend out on the perimeter. But how do you get them? That's a big question.
Well, it's a long off season, so I guess we'll wait and see.
The long off season, they got salary cap issues too, so we'll see what happens. All right, well, now it's time to focus on the first place Guardians and the always rebuilding Browns. We have a brand new episode dropping tonight of Off the Leash. Ashley Holder, Leah Doherty, Mark Schwab breaking the preseason down. Watch on 19 News Plus at 6:30 after 19 News at 6.
Now your 19 First Alert traffic update.
We'll have a couple of crashes. One of them is going to perhaps make you want to scream, so you're going to be stuck in traffic for a long time, just perhaps not as loud as Mark Schwab. But if you're going to be over in the Norton area, there's a crash in that construction zone on Route 21 northbound after Wadsworth Road 261, and that's causing drivers to go just 17 miles per hour for a 4-mile stretch. You do the math there, that's going to take you almost 15 minutes to get through. But of course, that's not going to be your delay. Your delay is just going to be around an extra 10 minutes because you have to account for the time that you already would have been spent driving those 4 miles. So again, we have some slow speeds on Route 21 northbound in the Norton area for 4 miles up to that crash on Route 21 north after Wadsworth Road. But you can see that we have a little bit of clearance here, and that's just around where 21 meets 76.
The Shaker Heights School District is mourning the loss of one of its teachers. Najee Hardaway, a 4th grade teacher at Lomond Elementary School, has passed away. The district says he was a Shaker Heights graduate and a beloved staff member. We don't know how he died at this point, but we're told there are grief counselors and other resources available to those who need it.
Officials in California now say a chemical tank is no longer in danger of exploding. Still, risks remain, and thousands of people are still unable to get back in their homes. Jonathan Vigliotti is at an emergency command post.
After 4 days of fear, this morning, relief.
The most catastrophic and worst case scenario was mitigated and resolved.
The risk of a BLEVE, a disastrous explosion of toxic chemicals, has been averted. On Monday, officials said they have the upper hand on a chemical storage tank that was overheating at the GKN Aerospace facility in Garden Grove, California.
I'm gonna go to my car.
It's a major victory for many of the 50,000 displaced residents across 6 cities.
Roughly 65% is going home. That's a huge win.
Officials say a crack in the tank had actually released built-up pressure and heat, but warn other dangers remain.
We still have to mitigate a fire and very small explosion concern, and also a spill potential.
Outside a food truck feeding evacuees, we met Jacqueline Riegos and her dog Jericho.
We're scrambling to get what we need.
They had been sleeping in her car for 3 nights because shelters separate pets from owners. But on Monday, she had no choice.
It looked like it was going to be a very hot day, and I can't have him having a heat stroke.
Officials saying they're hopeful that the worst case scenario will not materialize. What goes on in your mind when you hear that news?
Praise the Lord.
And officials say a faulty valve impacted the tank's cooling system. The aerospace company is now working with authorities here on the ground, and President Trump releasing federal funding to assist with the recovery. John DeVigliotti, CBS News, Cypress, California.
All right, the Ohio State Highway Patrol just put out its Memorial Day weekend driving stats.
So the number of fatalities is the lowest it's been in 18 years. 19 Data journalist Dan DeRosa is here with a look at the numbers and at least a couple of the reasons perhaps why.
Yeah, the Ohio State Highway Patrol is trying to say that what they did last weekend really contributed to how many fewer fatalities we had on our highways this weekend. Last weekend was the first ever coordinated statewide DUI checkpoint. They worked with hundreds of departments. They took out 158 drunk drivers last weekend alone. Take out those drunk drivers, maybe most of them didn't get drunk and drive again this weekend. Can't say all of them did. The other factor in all of this is obviously maybe even high gas prices. You may have had fewer people driving longer distances. But here's a look at 2023, 2024, 25, and 26. We had 6 people die. These are unfortunate numbers. Anybody who dies, and we're not trying to be cold, but it shows that whatever they did last weekend, that enforcement may have actually worked. So they'll probably do it again next year. 14 people died last year. In 24, it was 26, the same as 23. Now, when you start to break down the fatal crash statistics, that's what's really interesting to me. In the people who died, in the 6 instances, 2 people had their seatbelts on, 2 people did not. You're going to see that, well, there's a reason. There was one motorcycle crash, and that person did not have a helmet on, or it's unknown if they were wearing a helmet. There was one pedestrian who was killed. When we start talking about was there alcohol involved in any of our fatalities? No. One of them is unknown. 5 of them were a no. I'm going to pull up just a couple of other statistics here. When they start looking at other things like, let's go to just crashes, total cases, this was 26,000. Safety belt, this always sort of shocks me that people are still not wearing their safety belt. They handed out 2,090 tickets for people not wearing their seat belt. When we look at drug arrests, there were 66. When we look at distracted driving, that is a huge increase over last year. They handed out 1,000 tickets for distracted driving last year, almost 1,500 this year. That's an increase of about 44%.
All right, Dan, thank you. Now to a 19 consumer alert. Insomnia Cookies is set to open its first store in Strongsville. The new bakery, located on Royalton Road, it marks the brand's 18th store in Ohio and 363rd location nationwide. Insomnia Cookies are going to be holding an all-day grand opening event and a late-night celebration, all in the store, baked full of freebies. That's this Saturday at noon. So after having some of those cookies, you may want to hit the gym. And if you're a teen, you can work out for free at Planet Fitness this summer. The high school summer pass for 14 to 19-year-olds is returning to Planet Fitness this summer. So after registering, teens can work out at Planet Fitness for free from June 1st to August 31st. Parents can also get 1 free day pass to go with their teens.
Caught on camera, a kangaroo on the loose in Waco, Texas. Take a look at this. You see officers chasing the roo through a field. There he goes. Then through a parking lot. A wildlife rescue employee shows up with a net. Did that work? I don't know. Eventually, they rounded it up at a car dealership. It was safely returned home to a wildlife rescue.
Now to your top 4 at 4. A fire shut down I-490 in Cleveland for hours. This was the scene around 4:15 this morning. The bridge is now back open, but the flames were at an abandoned factory off Independence Road. Inspectors say the flames and the smoke really only caused cosmetic damage, and the bridge is safe to drive on. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
There's now a second suspect in a Canton murder. There's an arrest warrant out for 45-year-old Larry Grimes, accused in connection with Sunday's shooting death of Richard Poole. The U.S. Marshals Task Force arrested one of the suspects, Daquan Rucker of Akron. If you know where Larry Grimes is, please call Canton Police.
We now know the names of the two people who were killed when a small plane crashed into an Akron home. The medical examiner has identified them as 39-year-old flight instructor Colin Albee from Texas and 38-year-old pilot David Garcia from Indiana. The plane took off from Akron Fulton Airport back on May 14th, crashed into that home on Canterbury Circle. People inside the home escaped safely. The investigation into what caused that plane to go down continues.
New restrictions go into effect at midnight for travelers flying from parts of Africa to the U.S. This comes as the deadly Ebola outbreak continues to spread. So flights carrying passengers who recently traveled from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, or South Sudan must arrive at one of three airports. That's Dulles in Washington, Atlanta, or Houston. Travelers will be escorted to designated areas to get screened.
Republicans in Texas are voting in a runoff today.
Yes, they are. It's yet another test of President Trump's hold over his party and the most expensive Senate primary we've seen in history. Incumbent Senator John Cornyn is fighting off a challenge from State Attorney General Ken Paxton, who has secured President Trump's endorsement. Paxton is a controversial figure, bringing personal scandal and an impeachment attempt over alleged misuse of power, which he denies. Cornyn has been in power for quite a while, wants to hold on to it.
Obviously, the president is entitled to make his pick, but I tell you, I've represented Texans a long time, and I know Texans are a pretty independent breed, and people will be making their own choices.
When he endorses, it has a tremendous impact, and I think it creates a slight bit of momentum, don't you?
Several other Republican incumbents have lost primaries this year after failing to gain the president's support. The winner of today's runoff will face Texas Democrat candidate James Tallarico in November. Breaking at this hour, a deadly chemical tank implosion at a pulp and paper mill in Washington State. Hazmat is investigating at the Nippon Dynawave packaging plant. The tank holding chemicals imploded. Several people suffered chemical burns. Some had other injuries. We don't know how many people were hurt or killed. Firefighters say there is no longer a threat to the public.
Also breaking, this video just into the newsroom. A home exploded in Plainfield Township, Michigan this morning. The Kent County Sheriff's Office now reports that a man was found dead in the rubble of the home. Two neighbors pulled a woman from the home. She was rushed to the hospital. She's listed in critical condition. No word yet on what caused that explosion. No contract, no raise, and now a strike threat.
Metro RTA workers in Akron say they've waited long enough. Catherine Huntley is live now. Catherine, what are they telling you?
Yeah, Metro RTA workers have worked for years with no contract and no raise. And now they say that more drastic steps will be taken if the union representing more than 300 people does not agree with their employer.
We're very serious. Whatever it takes to get a resolve in this issue, we're willing to do it. We're willing to take it to the next step.
Summit County Metro RTA bus drivers, vehicle service, and customer care employees are serious about getting a new contract. Their previous contract expired on June 1st of 2024, and since 2023, they haven't gotten a raise. Today, the TWU Local 1 showed up at a Metro RTA board meeting to demonstrate why they need their demands met.
We would like to maintain the health insurance that we currently have, and we would like a reasonable increase in wage, and we would also like sick time if we can get it.
The union president says they want a 5% raise, along with back pay for the years they've been working without a raise. Ultimately, they say it's about allowing them to continue helping the people of Summit County.
The community. Serving the community daily. That's what we do, and that's what we enjoy. We transport people to kidney dialysis, doctor's appointments, children to school, grocery stores, essential services.
In the board meeting today, Metro RTA CEO Don Distler spoke briefly about the negotiations.
And we all want a positive resolution to this. We want to continue to make sure that our employees are taken care of very well, that our team members are paid well. And I can tell you that is the truth.
Metro RTA declined an interview today. Instead, they responded with a statement saying, Metro and its Board of Trustees are continuing to follow the process and await the fact finder's report. We are hoping to have the report within the next week or so and are staying optimistic that we will be able to reach a fair and equitable contract. Now, once that fact finder report comes back, both sides will then vote on if they will accept or reject the results of that report. The union tells me if they do not believe it's a fair contract still, they will move forward with working to authorize a strike vote. For now in Akron, Catherine Huntley, 19 News.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
Well, it may not still be sunny outside at Edgewater Beach, but we've still got a lot of folks trying to take advantage of some of the warmer air that's in place. We've even got some boaters out on the water taking full advantage of the 70s that are here for at least now. This will not last forever because, again, we are expecting a cold front to come through tomorrow. That's why you're seeing a lot of these high clouds starting to drift in. It's this sign that our weather pattern is slowly starting to change. But temperature-wise, it's not bad. Most of us are still sitting upper 70s out there, so enjoy kind of the milder stretch that we're in, at least for the rest of this evening. The clouds that are building in should kind of keep that temperature pretty steady as we head into the overnight, and we'll have a spotty rain chance across our southern counties tonight. I think the best rain chance will actually come together for our southern zones as we get into the early hours of tomorrow.
19 crime alert. The U.S. Marshals need your help finding a fugitive in the Cleveland area. The Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force is searching for 60-year-old Timur Shabani. He's wanted for a pretrial violation. He's about 5'6", 180, hangs out in Cleveland. If you know where he is, call 1-866-4-WANTED. Red Cross is helping several people forced from their homes because of this fire this morning. Happened in an apartment complex on East 119th. Cleveland Fire is telling us fire started in a first-floor apartment. One person had to be helped out of the second floor, but no one was hurt. Fire caused an estimated $60,000 in damage.
Protesters and law enforcement clashing near a New Jersey Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility. Inhumane conditions have been alleged for months. Tensions escalated over the holiday weekend as hundreds of detainees reportedly went on a labor and hunger strike. Michael Yoshida reports.
Chaotic scenes outside a federal immigration detention center in New Jersey. Protesters gathering around Delaney Hall after reports of detainees starting a hunger and labor strike due to poor conditions.
We're really concerned about what's happening in here.
Activists formed Human Chain says charged demonstrations led to clashes with law enforcement over the holiday weekend. New Jersey Democratic Senator Andy Kim was purportedly one of those caught in a cloud of tear gas. Other officials, including Governor Mikey Sherrill, tried to see conditions in the detention center, but said they were not allowed inside Sunday or Monday.
Everyone, regardless of your status, should be treated with dignity. We're having reports that women who are menstruating have to ask every time they need products. That's humiliating.
They won't let the governor in is because they don't want us to tell the stories of what's happening inside. Because when we tell the stories, everyone in New Jersey and people across the country realize this is not who we are as a country.
The Department of Homeland Security said in a statement that visitation has been suspended out of an abundance of caution following the clashes this weekend, adding, "This is nothing more than a political stunt by New Jersey sanctuary politicians for fundraising clicks. There is no hunger strike at Delaney Hall. There are no subprime conditions or abuse at the facility." Lawmakers say they'll keep pushing for oversight and closure of the facility. I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.